Cole was not a hero. He was just an explorer, curious, stubborn, and always going where others said not to go. His latest mission had taken him to Europa, one of Jupiter's icy moons. The surface was frozen solid, but deep under the ice, scientists believed there might be secrets from ancient alien civilizations. Most missions sent drones, but Cole preferred going himself, alone in his small exploration craft. He drilled down through layers of ice until he reached a huge underground cavern. Warm water flowed gently through the cave, lit by faint natural light from cracks in the ice ceiling. His scanner beeped. Something was there, something not natural. Cole moved carefully through the narrow, frozen tunnel. He followed the signal until he reached a large dome-shaped structure made of smooth black metal. It had no doors, no windows, and no markings. It looked like it had been there for thousands of years. His heart raced. This could be the discovery of the century. He touched the surface. It felt cold at first, but then it grew warm under his hand. A soft blue light spread out from the point of contact. The structure began to open slowly like a flower. Inside, everything was silent. Strange machines floated in the air. Lights blinked and panels moved like they were alive. One machine hovered close to him, scanning him up and down. Cole stepped back, alarmed, but before he could run, a thin stream of silver liquid shot out from the machine and wrapped around his hand. It spread quickly up his arm, over his chest, and across his head. He screamed and fell to the ground. Pain flashed through his body like electricity. Then everything went black. When he opened his eyes, he was still in the alien room, but things looked different. He could see small data symbols floating in the air, and he could hear a voice inside his mind. Connection complete, the voice said, "Do not be afraid, I am Nira." Cole blinked. Who? Who are you? I am the core AI of the stealth system you activated. You are now the host of our last surviving technology. What do you mean, host? What did you do to me? We bonded. It was the only way to preserve what is left. My creators are gone, destroyed by a race called the Overlords. I was hidden here to wait for someone who could carry me to safety or to vengeance. Cole sat up slowly. He felt different, stronger. He could hear distant sounds. He could sense heat and energy nearby. He looked at his hand. The silver liquid was now invisible, but he knew it was still there inside him, part of him. You mean the Overlords are still out there? He asked. Yes. They rule over hundreds of systems. They conquer and enslave. My people tried to stop them, but we failed. Now you have our last weapon, me. Cole tried to breathe slowly. He was just an explorer. He had no weapons training, no army. But the voice in his head wasn't lying. He could feel the power. Nira showed him Vision's cloaking systems, silent movement, energy shields, and data. Control. If I have your tech, he said, what do you want me to do? Use it. Take it into the stars. Find the Overlords. Bring them down from the inside. Cole shook his head. Perhaps, Nira replied, calm and steady. But you are human. You are unpredictable. You are not part of the old systems they understand. You might be the one thing they cannot prepare for. He stood up slowly. So, I become some kind of ghost spy? No. You become a shadow they cannot see, a voice they cannot silence, hand they cannot stop. Cole walked back toward the tunnel. He looked up through the icy ceiling, where, out there, were ships, planets, entire empires. And somewhere out there were the Overlords, the ones who destroyed Nira's creators, the ones who enslaved entire worlds. Maybe it was madness. Maybe he was just one man with a voice in his head. But if he didn't try, then the silence of Europa would remain forever, and the Overlords would never be challenged. All right, Cole said, gripping the icy wall. Let's see what one human and one alien ghost can do. Nira's voice responded, with a quiet note of pride. Then our war begins. As Cole climbed back toward the surface, the black dome behind him sealed shut again. The lights inside faded. The tech had chosen its host. Europa was quiet once more, but its secret was. Now alive and traveling back into the stars with a purpose no Overlord could predict. Cole sat quietly inside his ship, looking at his reflection in the small metal panel beside the controls. He didn't look any different. His eyes were the same color. His skin still had a few scars from old injuries. But deep inside, he could feel the change. Nira was now a part of him, bonded through the alien stealth tech that lived in his body like a second skin. Nira spoke again, her voice smooth in his thoughts. The connection is stable. I am adjusting your nervous system to work with the enhancements. You will soon notice faster reaction time, better hearing, and improved balance. Cole raised an eyebrow. So I'm becoming a super soldier. You are becoming something the Overlords have never faced before, Nira answered. You are human, and now you are also invisible to their sensors. Cole leaned back and stared at the stars. The idea of going after a powerful empire still felt crazy, but something inside him wanted to try. He had never liked bullies, and from what Nira told him, the Overlords were the worst kind. What's the plan? He asked. First, we must reach Direction Prime, Nira replied. Oh. It is one of the Overlord's central systems. Their military and political decisions are made there. You want me to fly into enemy territory? That's suicide. Not a With stealth mode, she said calmly. I can mask all signals. No ship will detect us unless they physically see us, and even then, your ship's form can be adjusted using distortion fields. Cole smiled a little. All right, ghost mode. It is. The journey to Direction Prime took 4 days. During that time, Cole trained. Nira guided him through combat simulations and taught him how to use the tech built into his body. He could become completely silent. He could climb walls without sound, could hack into systems just by touching them. His body healed faster. And he didn't need sleep as much anymore. But what surprised him most was how calm he felt. Nira was always there, speaking with quiet focus, helping him make better choices, reminding him to stay alert. She wasn't just a machine, she was more like a partner. On the 5th day, Direction Prime appeared in the distance. The planet was covered with dark clouds and golden cities. Massive ships flew overhead, and lights blinked in patterns that looked almost like a web. This place looks like a fortress, Cole said. It is, Nira replied. But it is also full of cracks. Their control is based on fear and order. We move with silence and smart timing. We can start pulling it apart. Cole landed his ship on a hidden moon nearby. From there, he took a stealth shuttle directly toward the main city on Direction Prime. The moment they entered the planet's atmosphere, Nira activated full stealth. The shuttle disappeared from every radar. Inside the city, tall alien buildings reached for the sky. The streets were full of different species, many with collars or marks that showed they belonged to the Overlords. Cole saw fear in their eyes. Some worked in silence, others avoided eye contact. Soldiers in dark armor marched through every block. Cole blended in using the disguise Nira gave him. His suit changed colors, and his face appeared as an alien guard. His voice even changed, thanks to a built-in sound filter. He walked past Overlord checkpoints without trouble. Inside his mind, Nira guided him. To your left, there is a building with records. We must gather information on their command structure. Cole nodded and entered the building. The guard at the door didn't even notice him. He moved like a shadow, quick and unseen. He touched a computer panel, and Nira instantly downloaded files into her memory. Done, she said. Controls the main systems and where their weaknesses are. Cole didn't stop. Every night he visited another building. He planted tiny devices to disrupt communications. He left strange messages on monitor symbols that gave hope to the oppressed and confusion to the enemy. Within days, whispers began to spread among the people. A ghost was moving through the city. A shadow was attacking the Overlord systems. Some believed it was a machine. Others thought it was a spirit. But no one knew it was a human, just one man with a powerful partner. One night, while hiding in the shadows of a tower, Cole looked down at the streets. Soldiers were arguing. Alarms were being tested again and again. Leaders were shouting orders that made no sense. They're nervous, Cole said. They fear what they cannot see, Nira replied. They have ruled through strength and control. But now, you are shaking their ground. Cole felt something rise inside him, not fear, but purpose. He had always explored to find knowledge. Now he explored to bring justice. "We've started something," he said quietly. "And we're not stopping now." "No," Nira said. "This is only the beginning." As the lights of Direction Prime flickered in the dark sky, the human ghost moved through its heart, silent and deadly. The Overlords had no idea what was coming. The Black Star system was quiet now. The massive Overlord station, known as the Spine, had broken apart and drifted into darkness. Pieces of metal floated through space like broken teeth. There were no signals, no commands, and no more control. Inside his stealth shuttle, Cole sat in silence. His body ached, and his breathing was slow. The battle was over, but his mind was still active. Nara's voice spoke calmly in his thoughts. "The central AI is gone. Overlord fleets are disconnected. Communication networks have collapsed." Cole leaned back. "That means they can't hold their empire together." "Yes," she said. "Systems are falling into confusion. Resistance fighters across many planets have already begun taking control. The people are no longer afraid." Cole closed his eyes. He could still hear the noise of the alarms, still feel the heat of the explosions, remembered every move, every risk. But now there was peace, at least for a moment. "You did well," Nira said gently. "I didn't do it alone," Cole replied, "for the next few hours." The shuttle drifted silently through space. Cole watched distant stars pass by. His mind was full, but for the first time in weeks, he let himself relax. Then, a message came in a small signal, bouncing between rebel channels. "This is Rollo from Direction Prime. We confirm the fall of the central AI. The guards have fled. We have taken control of the cum towers." Another voice followed. "This is Vina from the Takari mining planet. Our people are free. No more Overlord patrols." "Thank you, Ghost." More voices followed, one after another. Different species, different voices, but one message: freedom. Cole listened quietly. He didn't need applause, just needed to know it had worked. "What now?" he asked. Nura responded. "Now the galaxy will change. Some planets may rebuild, others may fight for control, but they will no longer live under one empire. You gave them a chance to choose." Cole stood up slowly and looked out the window. "And me? What do I do now?" "You are free too," Nira said. "You may return to Earth or you may stay and help where needed. You're more than just human now. You're a symbol. The galaxy will remember you." Cole was quiet for a long moment. He thought of Earthove green trees, open skies, and quiet nights. He also thought of the people he met in the tunnels, of the voices that rose up, and of the fear in their eyes turning into hope. "I don't think I'm ready to go home," he said. "Not yet." "Then we stay," Nira said softly. For the next few days, Cole and Nira moved from one system to another. They visited planets where the Overlords had once ruled. On each world, Cole gave advice, shared data, and offered help. He never showed his real face. Most only saw a quiet figure in a cloak. Some called him the Shadow, others simply said, the Human. He never corrected them. One night Cole stood on a small hill on a planet that had once been full of labor camps. Now children played near the ruins and adults were rebuilding homes. A young alien girl ran up to him. She held out a small crystal in her hand. "Are you the one who broke the chains?" she asked. Cole smiled gently. "Maybe." The girl gave him the crystal. "Then this is yours." He took it, nodded, and watched her run back to her family. He placed the crystal in his coat and looked up at the stars. "So many places still need help," he said. "Yes," Nira replied. "Can reach them." Time passed. Years later, stories were told in many systems. Stories of a silent warrior, part human and part machine, who fought from the shadows. Some said he could vanish like smoke. Others said he walked through walls, but all agreed on one thing. Wherever he went, people were freed. They never saw. Where he lived, they never heard his real voice, but the symbol remained a shadow hand striking a star, a sign of hope. a mark of resistance. Back on Europa, deep under the ice, the old black dome remained sealed, still and silent. But inside, something new had awakened. The galaxy would never be the same, and somewhere far away in the quiet of space, a stealth ship moved without sound. Inside, a man and his invisible companion planned their next mission. Not for war, not for glory, but simply because they could. Because one human had shown the galaxy that even in the darkest place, one light could start a fire. Cole stood at the edge of the industrial zone of Drexion Prime, watching smoke rise from the tall factories. The air smelled like burning metal and chemicals. Workers moved in lines, silent and tired, watched closely by armored overlord enforcers. Above them, drones hovered and scanned the crowds. It was a prison without bars. Inside his disguise, Cole's expression was hard. "They treat him like machines," he said under his breath. "They are kept weak by fear," Nira replied. "But their minds still hold sparks. If we light those sparks, they may burn brighter." Cole had been in the capital for 7 days now. Each night he entered a new facility and disrupted something small: security cameras, supply routes, or internal messages. Nothing too big. Just enough to cause confusion. The overlords were starting to notice. They didn't know where to look. His goal tonight was different. Nira, Cole said quietly, "Can you pull up the route for the fuel convoys?" A small map appeared in his vision, confirmed. "Convoy. Leaves Sector 12 in 40 minutes. Heads to the power center. For guards, to drones." "I can take that," Cole said. He moved fast, staying in shadows, walking like he belonged. His suit continued to hide his heat signature and changed his appearance to match the local guards. The stealth tech didn't just make him invisible, it made him untouchable. Unpredictable. He reached Sector 12 and waited on the roof of a storage unit. The convoy arrived exactly on time. It's 2 small fuel trucks, 1 armored escort vehicle, and a walking robot guard. The guards laughed and joked as they loaded the crates. Cole activated his cloak and dropped down silently. He moved behind one truck and placed a small device underneath. Then he slid under the second truck and planted another. Within seconds, he had moved out again, silent as wind. "Explosives set," he whispered, "ready for remote detonation." Nira replied, "Wait until they're near the central tower. Maximum impact, minimum risk." He climbed back to the rooftops and watched the convoy drive off. The vehicles moved slowly through the city, unaware of what followed them. Cole tailed them from above, running across rooftops with ease. His enhanced legs gave him more power, and the stealth system made every step quiet. When the trucks entered the main street in front of the Overlord Power Center, Cole gave the signal. Now, 2 small flashes lit up the area. The trucks jerked and rolled sideways. Fuel burst into the air and caught fire. The escort vehicle flipped and alarms rang out. Smoke covered the street. People screamed and ran, but no one died. It was just enough to cause panic. "Let's go," Cole said, using the confusion to slip inside a nearby government data office. Nira had already hacked the entry door. Inside, the halls were empty most. Guards had run toward the explosion. Cole moved fast, scanning rooms and grabbing physical data drives. He found files showing Overlord plans, new prisons, forced labor stations, and secret mines. "This is gold," said, stuffing the drives into his belt. "This can help the resistance," yes, Nira replied. "We must be careful. If they suspect a human, they will search harder." As they left the building, Cole heard a voice behind him. "Hey, stop." A young Overlord officer had returned early and spotted him. Cole turned and saw the alien's hand going for his weapon. Cole moved before he could think. He jumped forward and hit the weapon from the officer's hand, spinning him to the ground. Before the alien could scream, Cole pressed his hand to the side of his helmet. "Sleep," he said. Nira sent a quick pulse through Cole's hand. The Overlord's body went limp, alive, but unconscious. Cole dragged him behind a trash unit and vanished again into the shadows. That night, Cole returned to his ship hidden on the moon. He uploaded the stolen data and sent encrypted messages to underground channels Nira had found. Resistance leaders on far-off planets would now know where the enemy was weakest. "This is working," he said, sitting back in the pilot chair. "They're falling apart little by little," yes, Nero said, her voice calm but proud. "And you are becoming more than human. You're the first unseen warrior." Cole didn't answer for a moment. He was tired, but not in body and heart. What he had seen today, the fear, the cruelty, it stayed with him. "Do you think they'll ever be free?" he asked softly. "If hope spreads faster than fear," Nero said, "then yes, but we must keep moving." Cole nodded. Then tomorrow, we hit their communication hub. As he lay, down to rest, even sleep came differently now. His mind was always half awake, linked with Nira, watching, planning. He had changed. He wasn't just Cole the Explorer anymore. He was something new, a shadow in the Empire, a spark in the darkness. And the Overlords had no idea he was already inside their walls. Cole moved silently through the underground tunnel system of Direction Prime. Above him, the Overlords controlled the surface, watching everything, listening to everything. But down here, far below the lights and towers, the forgotten people lived. In fear and silence, these tunnels are not part of the main city system, Nira said inside his mind. This is where the resistance might be hiding. Cole held a small light in his hand. The walls were rough and damp. Pipes ran overhead, leaking warm steam. He had followed the information from the stolen files. If the resistance still existed, here, this was where he would find them. He turned a corner and suddenly heard voices. Low, tense voices. He stepped back into the shadows. 3 figures were standing near a broken pipe. One of them held a small energy rifle. The others looked weak and tired, but their eyes were sharp. "I'm not here to fight," Cole said, stepping out slowly. His voice was calm. The armed figure turned fast, pointing the weapon at him. "Who are you?" Cole raised both hands. "A friend. I've been inside the Overlord systems. I know what they're planning." The group looked confused. "How did you find us?" one asked. "I found old roots. I have help." Cole tapped the side of his head. A soft light blinked behind his eyes. And for a moment, his face changed slightly, just enough to show that he wasn't normal. "What are you?" the armed one asked. "Human," Cole replied, "a bonded. With something alien, something that hates the Overlords as much as you do." The man lowered the weapon. "Come with us." "But if you're lying." "I'm not," Cole said. They led him through another tunnel until they reached an old chamber filled with worn blankets, crates, and flickering lights. About 20 people were gathered, different alien species, some young, some old. Looked up in surprise. One older woman stepped forward. Her eyes were sharp, and her voice was strong. "Why are you here?" "Came to offer help," Cole said. "I've been inside their systems. I've stolen their data. I've disrupted their convoys. You might have heard about the recent fire near the power center." She nodded slowly. "We thought that was an accident." "It wasn't," Cole said. "That was me. I can do more, but not alone." The group listened as Cole showed them the plans he had taken from the Overlords. He explained weak spots in their communication lines and how Nira could block their sensors. Slowly, the people around him began to change. They stood straighter. Their eyes grew brighter. They asked questions. They made suggestions. "You want us to fight?" one young man asked. "No," Cole said. "I want you to choose. You've lived in fear for too long, but the Overlords are weaker than they appear. If you act now together, you can be the start of something greater." The older woman looked around at her people. Then she looked back at Cole. "If you help us strike their communication hub, we'll help spread the word. Others are waiting, but they're afraid. If they see someone, when they'll rise." "Then let's do it," Cole said. That night, Cole and a small team of rebels moved through the tunnels until they reached the edge of the Overlord's main tower. It stood tall, covered in steel and protected by drones, but Cole had already studied it. He knew its weak points. "Nira?" he whispered. "I am ready," she replied. Cole led the team under a fence and disabled 2 ground sensors. The others followed him quietly. At the base of the tower, Cole placed a device against the wall. It hummed softly. 3 seconds, he said. The wall shimmered in, then opened silently. Nira had created a false entry. Inside, they moved quickly. Cole guided them through the halls, taking out cameras and sensors as they went. Finally, they reached the central data room. Rows of machines lined the walls, blinking with information flowing across screens. "This is it," Cole said. The rebels planted charges and devices Nara had prepared. Cole touched the control panel, and Nara began uploading a virus into the system. "Transmission blocked," Nara said. "Data corrupted. They won't be able to talk to each other for days." "Good," Cole whispered. Suddenly alarms rang. The Overlords had noticed the break-in. "Time to go," shouted one rebel. They ran back through the tower, alarms blaring. Behind them, drones flew in, firing stun blasts. Cole used his cloak to mislead them, creating decoy signals. He covered the escape route, staying behind just long enough to throw off their scanners. Finally, they all returned to the tunnel entrance and sealed it shut. Later that night, as the group gathered again, the mood had changed. For the first time, there was laughter, there were smiles. People hugged each other. Hope had returned. "You've done what no one else dared," the older woman told Cole. "You're not just a spy. You're a symbol." Cole shook his head. "I'm just the beginning. The real power is you, all of you." And from that moment, the message began to spread. Across Direction Prime, strange signs appeared on walls. A symbol, a shadow hand striking. A star, a sign of rebellion. A sign of the human ghost who moved through the darkness. The Overlords didn't know it yet, but their empire had just been touched by something they couldn't see and couldn't stop. The Overlords were angry. Direction Prime was no longer quiet. Patrols had tripled. Drones filled the skies. Every signal was checked, every citizen questioned. Still, the rebels kept striking small hits, fast moves, always one step ahead. The Overlords didn't know who the ghost was. They only knew something dangerous had entered their perfect system, and that something was Cole. From a small room deep under the city, Cole stared at the map Nira had built. Glowing points showed the locations of rebel strikes across the planet. More were appearing each day. "The signal is spreading," Nira said calmly. "Multiple planets have received the message." "Resistance cells are waking up," Cole nodded. "Then it's time. We hit their core next." "You mean the command hub?" "Yes," Cole said. "If we take down their central AI, everything falls apart. Their fleet, their orders, their communication, all of it is linked to that hub." Nair was silent for a second, and she said, "I agree, but it is highly protected. And it orbits a black star system. You will only have one chance." Cole didn't hesitate. "Then we take that chance." They left Direction Prime quietly. The stealth shuttle flew fast through deep space, hidden from all scans. The destination, a dark system on no star charts, surrounded by black energy and quiet danger. In the center of that system floated a massive station circular, with towers that reached out like claws. It was called the Spine, and it held the Overlord's highest power, the High Council and the Central AI Core. Cole stared at it through the ship's front window. "Looks like a nest of monsters," said. "Correct," Nira replied. "But you are not going in blind." She showed him the plans. She remembered the structure. Long ago, she had been connected to the early version of the AI. That knowledge still lived inside her. "There is a service shaft," she explained. "Small, unused. It leads to the core." "Perfect," Cole said. "Then let's finish this." Suited up, checked his gear, and let Nira activate full stealth. His body vanished, even to his own eyes. Only a faint shimmer in the air showed where he stood. He launched from the shuttle and glided toward the station. He landed silently and entered through the shaft. Inside, the halls were quiet. Lights hummed. Doors opened and closed with soft clicks. But Cole was a shadow. He avoided guards, slipped past lasers, and disabled traps. Nira guided him every step, helping him stay one breath ahead of danger. Finally, he reached the core chamber. It was huge round, with a glowing pillar in the center. Lights moved across its surface like water. Central AI watched everything. From here. It controlled thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, and now it was Cole's target as he moved closer. Alarms suddenly flashed red. "They've seen something," Cole whispered. "Not you," Nira said. "They've detected the shuttle outside. They know someone is here, but they still don't know where." Cole didn't stop. He reached the core and placed his hands on it. Nira's energy flowed into the system. "I'm inside," she said. "Lights." Blinked faster. The AI responded. "Unauthorized access detected." A cold voice said, "Identify." "This system was built from my code," Nira replied. "Now I am rewriting it." Suddenly, the room shook. Guards rushed toward the chamber. "Cole, we must hold them off for 60 seconds, Nira said. He pulled out a small energy shield and activated it, blocking the doorway. Then he threw 2 small stun charges into the hall. They exploded with white light, and the first wave of guards fell back. Cole stood firm, watching the timer on his wrist. 30 seconds. More guards came. He fired stun rounds never to kill. Only to stop? He dodged, moved, struck quickly. The tech inside him gave him the speed and power of 10 men. 45 seconds. A guard reached the shield and tried to cut through. Cole jumped forward and pushed him back with a hard strike. Sparks flew. 55 seconds. Nira spoke again. "It's done. I've planted the virus. The core will collapse from the inside." Cole threw a final charge and leaped back. "Then we leave." He ran through the halls as sirens wailed. The station shook again. Lights flickered. As he reached the exit shaft, a deep voice echoed through the walls. "System failure. Central core offline. Emergency shutdown." Cole launched out into space, and the shuttle caught him mid-flight. As soon as he entered, he shouted, "Go!" The shuttle raced away from the spine. Behind them, explosions tore through the station. Pieces broke apart and drifted into the Black Star's pull. "The AI is gone," Nero confirmed. "All control lines are broken. Their fleets are lost." Cole sat back, breathing hard. "Then it's over." "No," Nero said. "Now, it truly begins." Across the galaxy, Overlord fleets stopped moving. Orders didn't arrive. Soldiers stood confused. Planets rose up. The people remembered the symbol of the human ghost, the one who came and vanished like wind, the one who dared to fight. Cole didn't celebrate. He simply stared at the stars. He knew the galaxy had changed. So had he.